Here we go. All right. So now, when did your dad move into Madera County? Was it like 1920 or something when they bought
In
the
the
farm?
20s, yes.
Yeah.
It was in the. My mom and dad got married. They met in Arizona when they two families were. My mom's family was coming from Arkansas. My dad's family was coming from Arizona, but they had come from Alabama.
Oh.
They met in Arizona when they lived there, and my parents and their families moved on to California. My dad and mom got married in Merced, California in 1926, November the 9th, 1926. And they lived in the Central Valley. My dad said that the reason he wanted to come to California is because they wanted cotton farmers. They wanted people to raise cotton. That was a big thing back in the day.
Yeah.
And so he had been a cotton farmer back south. His father had anyway. And so they came to California, and he started being a cotton farmer. They got a farm in near the Chowchilla area, and they started raising cotton.
What was the creek? Was it like Merced Creek or something like that?
No, Chowchilla Slough.
Chowchilla Slough.
Chowchilla Slough.
Okay.
That's where the house was, near that area.
So I heard the stories
Chowchilla
about it, but I
Slough.
didn't remember
Yeah.
the details. All right. Yeah. So it's a long time ago. I'm trying to think the questions I had. So just have to fill in the gaps, and I'll raise questions when I hear something that sounds familiar. So my mom was born in 1929. It was January 10th, I believe, wasn't it?
Who was?
Helen was born January 10th, 1929.
Yeah, 1929, yes, because Ely was born in 28, I think 27, and then she was second. She was the second.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's and she always said it was 500 acres. I remember that. And,
Well, I don't remember it being that large.
Really?
He owned a big, large piece of land, but I don't think it was 500.
Yeah.
It was quite a bit. But what people did back in the day, they owned land and they grew cotton on their land, but they went and rented other areas of land.
Right.
And my father came to Fresno and rented 50 acres of land and grew cotton on it. And the man who owned it was an elderly man, and he wanted to sell it. And my mother said, "Why don't you buy it? Then the kids could go to college, because there's college there in Fresno." And he said, "No, they don't have nothing in Fresno but figs," and that's true. Back then there was a lot of fig trees. And the 50 acres that the man wanted to sell to him, was in Fig Garden, which is back in the day, it was a very, very, very known area, and it still is, because it's old and known for people living there years ago. And if he would have bought that 50 acres, we would have had a lot of money.
It was closer to town than.
Yes, it was. It's north of town or something like that. Anyway, but back in the day, it was got to be after Daddy didn't buy it, but Fig Garden got to be a big deal. That was the first part of the city that started to grow, and people built very nice homes and all of that.
So how far was Madera from Fresno?
35 miles?
Yeah.
South,
About
right?
35 miles. Yeah.
South?
Yeah. North. Madera's north.
Oh, but it was north of Fresno.
North
Okay.
north of Fresno, yeah.
Okay, interesting. I'm lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to tell stories about ground service up to Yosemite. So it's funny, I've been to Yosemite only once, but it didn't seem like it was that close, but I guess it was a little bit
No,
long
Yosemite wasn't
It's a big
close.
territory, I guess, huh?
Yeah, no, wasn't close. Yosemite's like up in the mountains from us.
Yeah, so
So
interesting. I'm trying to think what other questions I got here. So, and there was, how many kids total?
well,
Nine.
nine.
eight.
This has 9 there. One died, Leon.
Yes, but that left 7 after he died.
Well, I said, okay. Says in there, I don't know. We got to
Says in
listen. We got to listen.
That's right. She had a younger brother die young. Huh?
Yeah, died as an infant.
Okay.
Only had 7: Ely, Helen, Delbert, Elmer. No,
Hollis.
Leon.
Leon.
Yeah.
And then Hollis,
And me.
and then Bert, and then me.
Wait, so how many total?
7.
Seven.
Well, it was 8. My mother had 8, but 7 of us lived to a Delta.
So you went to school in Madera, or did you go to-
Chowchilla. We
did you
lived
go
in
to
the
Chow-
Chowchilla area.
Okay, Chowchilla. So Madera's a
Chowchilla
county.
area.
That's right.
Madera, Chowchilla is in Madera County.
Madera County. Yes, that's right.
Chowchilla was very small. It still is, and
Yeah.
it's in Madera County.
Right.
So, but I went to school in the Chowchilla area. You went to Chowchilla High, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to Choctaw High School.
So I did too.
Yeah. I remember Bert taking us to different farmers in the area years ago. I can't remember whether was it grapes or was it raisins? I remember getting raisins from somebody one time years ago, and he took us on a tour of the area. And
Yeah, we pruned a lot of grapes. We didn't own the grapes.
No, we
pruned
didn't. My dad didn't grow grapes.
Yeah.
But back in the day, that's all that was in that area was cotton and grapes and dairy farms.
them.
interesting.
One,
Tarbini was across the river from us.
Daddy told me back in the day there wasn't very many black people, wasn't any Hispanic people. There were Germans, Italians, and Portuguese. That's who most of the people were, and they were dairy farmers. They had cows. They were dairy farmers. And he told me about this one German man. What was you said his name was?
No,
Tarbini.
Tarbini.
Yeah, that had a Nazi flag in his basement, but that was before Hitler
Yeah.
took over. But he would say, "Well, Hitler's gonna save the world." That's what he thought. So,
Isn't that funny?
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people
all
thought.
types. I want to tell us the stories about the Armenians in the area. I remember, isn't it like Akmak or one of those bread companies or something was based out of that area somewhere?
Yes.
I can't remember the name.
We used it. Well, there's one in Fresno that brother who was the Trees. Remember the brother that owned
That's the Sujans.
the Sujans? They owned,
Sujans,
and
yeah.
they would always
The
give us
bakery.
bread, and they would give us the bread for the memorial.
Oh, interesting.
They would make
They
the
made the
bread for
bread.
the memorial. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember my mom would say something about we buy Akmak sometimes, and says, "Oh yeah, that comes from Fresno or somewhere around there." And Armenians used to grow over there, and I looked it up on the internet, and the names were really hard to pronounce. I remember that. So. Let's see, okay, and she married my dad in San Francisco in '53. So I'm trying to figure. She went to Fresno and lived with Sister Myers.
Yeah.
In Fresno for some time.
Well, the reason when your mom graduated from high school, there wasn't black people couldn't get a job
Yeah.
in that Chowchilla area,
Yeah.
even in the Madera area. But she had went and applied for a position at a restaurant. Trees, can you remember the name of it? I can't remember the name. In Madera, and they hired her. And I remember she needed a black skirt and white blouse and shoes, and my mother was scrambling around to buy her the stuff so she could go to work. And she came back. They told her when to come back. She come back a week later, and they told her, "We don't need you." Somebody had told them who her father was.
No, I'm okay.
They didn't know we were black,
No,
but
I'm
they
okay.
knew. Well, they
It's
other
wrestling.
people knew it,
Yeah.
but my father didn't look like it.
Yeah,
Neither did any
yeah.
of my family.
Yeah.
So when they told them who her father was, then they wouldn't hire her.
Yeah, something.
So she came to Fresno, and she worked for orthodontist glass guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. Okay, I
She
remember
worked
that. I
there,
heard that,
and she worked there for a while. She lived, and the reason she named her daughter Evelyn is because she lived with this elderly sister, and the sister used to, take care of her. She would walk. If Carol said, well, if she was kind of late getting home from work, the sister would walk to the bus stop to make sure she was all right. Yeah.
And so her
And-
first name was Evelyn?
Yes. Yes.
Aw,
That's why
that's
she
cool.
named her daughter Evelyn.
Yeah. It's funny because I hear parts of it, but I never heard all the bits, and they come together. Oh, now I remember. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So I'm trying to remember about what year it was. Then she left Fresno to San Francisco.
I don't know. She knew two other sisters, and they told her. I remember she telling my mother, they say we can make more money by working in San Francisco. And so she moved to San Francisco with these two sisters, and the sisters knew your father. And when he came over to see them, he saw your mother, and that was it. He wasn't interested in them. Your father was it.
Who were the sisters that Helen knew in San Francisco? Remember we met one?
Yeah. The lock. they were married, but their maiden name was Locke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their mother was Harry. I mean, their father's name was Harry, and their mother's name was Latham.
Yeah. Well, I know. I never met him. I didn't know. I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And she went to the Bay Area, and they knew your father because she told me, yeah, they used to talk about him. They were interested in him. And so he came over one time, and then he saw your mother. That was it.
And what's funny at the end there, she added to her stories, and so that so this guy kept asking me to marry him. I said, well, I might as well. He's a pioneer. I think I'll marry him. And so she said, yes.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So
It worked
okay.
out real good.
And they got married on her birthday in 1953, which I didn't know until
I
after she
didn't know that
died.
either. I don't know.
And
I was a kid then.
so it's kind of interesting. So how much older was she than you?
She was born in what?
29.
29. I was born in 1938.
Oh, okay. So she's 9 years older than you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's essentially putting all these stories together. Right?
Yeah. So.
Because I hear some of them here and there, and about riding the train. Now, to get from Fresno to San Francisco, you must have to go through Sacramento or something, wouldn't you? To
Yes.
get on the train?
Yeah. On the train or drove, and she took the 99
Yeah.
highway.
Through that way.
Wasn't freeways back in the
Yeah.
day.
So we always went south and went through Las Vegas
Yeah.
and went that way.
Yeah, I went that way. Yeah, you can come that way.
Oh, Highway 52 goes straight
52, yeah.
Yeah.
52 goes by our house that my father built years ago. It's near the Chowchilla Slough.
Goes straight to the coast.
But if you take Highway 52, you can go. A lot of time, that's the way we would go to San Francisco. You wouldn't stay on 99.
Yeah.
They didn't have all the freeways like they do now. So
Yeah.
we'd take 52 and go that way
Yeah.
to San Francisco.
That's interesting. See, there's a place called Casa de Fruta in
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of town now. Even, but it's near
Everybody
Las
stopped
Vegas,
there.
but
It's still
we
there.
always stop there.
Still,
And,
I like to go there. I'll go there pretty soon because they start selling the cherries
yeah.
and strawberries. Yeah,
Oh,
they're
man,
delicious.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And
Fruta.
of course, we always like the trains. They had a steam train there at one time, and so we rode the train around. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's
Yeah,
the stories of the guy, the cup flipper. A guy would flip cups, and it was amazing watching this guy just flip cups on the saucer and then have them rise up and here your cup. So, did you guys mainly grow cotton on your farm then? Or?
Cotton. My dad was a cotton farmer. My dad was a cotton farmer until 1953, and he had asthma ever since childhood.
Right.
And so he thought it was, we did too, that it was just his asthma. He was becoming very ill. He couldn't hardly farm anymore. And my aunt, who lived in Yakima, Washington, had a lot of property, and she said, well, come up here and help me manage my property. She was elderly. So we moved to Yakima and helped her some, but then her kids got all, they weren't helping her, but then after we came, they were afraid that maybe they were going to lose something. So they started coming around, and so my dad said,
All right. I'll tell you a story about Yakima. I went to Yakima twice in 1 year, high school. Because we had to move back, and move back again.
I went to school.
And so I went to Charlesville High School. I went to Yakima High School twice. Then I ended up in Washington Union in Fresno.
Yeah, he went to Washington Union and I went to Edison because it was in the city, and he didn't want to be in the city. He wanted to go back to the country, and so Washington Union was out there from.
Catch a bus, right?
How far from? Well, not far from our house. He'd catch
the bus and go to Washington.
And go to Washington Union. But something else I was going to tell you, can't think what it was now. But anyway, yeah, my dad was a farmer, and we came back because my brothers, older ones, and there was 3 of them that were there, and they told my dad, we don't want to stay here. We don't want to go through that winter, that snow. That snow was we weren't used to that. We never lived in snow. So we came back to California, came back to Fresno, and I was happy too because I didn't like that snow.
When was that?
Yakima.
When we lived in Yakima, we came back about 55. Because I started Edison High School in 1950. We got back in January, I think, of 55.
Because I graduated in 55.
Yeah. So I graduated in 57. And my dad still had health issues. He still had problems. We thought it was just his asthma. And his sister told him that when they were coming out here from Alabama, they lived in Arizona for 3 years, and he did pretty good. His health seemed to get better. So his sister, Aunt Bessie, said, "Why don't you go back to Arizona and see how it could help?" And he did okay. His health was pretty good, but we were all out here.
I drove him back there once.
Well, I drove. They used to make me drive, and then we would go visit my dad. And we didn't stop and stay in hotels or nothing. We drove all the way.
Yeah.
And I'd have to drive. My brother, Bert, and once one of my cousins came with us. Another time, some other body. And then my turn to drive was 12 o'clock in the morning at night till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And they'd be asleep. And we drove. And I guess I took a wrong turn. I told him, I was asking, "Do I turn here?" No, it was all asleep. And it was July, and we were driving and start feeling cool. And I thought, "Uh-oh, we're going the wrong way." And what part of Arizona?
Mesa.
That's where Daddy lived, in Mesa. But I was going.
Flagstaff.
I was going to Flagstaff, and Flagstaff's kind of up, and it's cooler there.
Yeah.
So I stopped the car. And you guys, you went the wrong way. I said, "Well, I asked you where I was supposed to go." Anyway, so.
Yeah, I remember telling stories about Arizona because his asthma was better there because of the dry weather. I
Yeah,
guess.
it was better, but he didn't want to stay down there because we were all out here, and so they moved. So my aunt was saying, "Well, maybe if you move to Southern California, because the Central Valley, the air is horrible there.
Yeah.
It's filthy."
Yeah.
So they did. They moved to the Central Valley. They moved to San Bernardino, and but still he had problems, and he went to work for the city of San Bernardino. He worked at the garbage dump where he would direct the traffic because
Proper word, refuge.
cars, the public could dump there as well as the trucks from the city, and so he would direct the traffic. And he asked me one day if I could buy him one of those belts that they wear for
Hernia.
hernias, yes. And I said, "Daddy, let me see." He said, no, because it was an inguinal hernia. I said, "Daddy, let me see." So he got a towel and covered himself up. He had what happens when you have a hernia is your intestines split and the muscle splits and the intestine goes through. And then the muscle can squeeze on the intestines and cause damage and kill you. You can get sick.
I had two of them, I know that.
And so I said, "No, we're going to the
Healthy
hospital."
genes
We're
here.
going. So I took him to the hospital. The doctors looked at him. They said, "Well, we'll have to do surgery. We'll only be in surgery." But I told him, I said, "He has asthma and he's been sick a long time." They said, "Well, we'll only be in surgery about 3 hours. 2 hours in surgery, an hour in recovery." He was in surgery 8 hours because they had to keep waking him up to breathe.
Oh.
And after that, they diagnosed him with emphysema. What emphysema does is your lungs, for years of having asthma, your lungs are supposed to do this when you breathe. But when you have emphysema, your lungs kind of stretch out of shape, and you don't breathe as well as you would. So he went on disability then.
Yeah. Okay.
And he said, they lived in San Bernardino, and he said it was all right. He said, but after about 2 years when they lived there, in the evening, he could smell the smog coming from the LA area.
Yeah.
So they lived there, and then when I moved back here to Fresno, and then my parents moved back, they were going to get their own place, but then I lived 3 doors down from where I live now, and the house went up for sale, and so me and my ex-husband bought the house, and my parents moved up there with us, and my dad was still very sick. He still had health issues. And
About when was that now? Late 50s or?
69.
69, yeah. We bought the
69.
house
We
in
still live in the same house, Russ.
January
Yeah,
of
on Bolt Street,
69.
It is the same house.
And what
I was born in January, we moved in June.
oh, May. She was
May.
born in January of 69. We moved in the house in May of 69.
Okay.
I went to work at Children's Hospital in August of 69.
Okay. Interesting.
And so my dad was sick, and I went. And my mother was down the 2 or 3 houses down the street. My cousins owned the house, and they rented it out, and he was there cleaning it up and all that. So I went and slapped my husband on the foot and said, we got to take Daddy to the doctor, because I walked by him and he's sitting there looking at me. I said, no, we got to go. And so I went and got my mother, and we got him. We put him in a car, and I live about 10 blocks from the hospital, from Valley Medical. Well, it used to be there, they're not there now. And we took him down there and was stopped in the ER area. And we got out of the car, and my husband had him on one side, and I had him on the other. And we were trying to walk in, and he collapsed. And I backed up. I knew he was gone. And the nurses saw us struggling with him. So they brought the gurney out, put him on the gurney, took him in. We went into the ER, and we were there about 20 minutes. And the doctor came out and says, well, he's gone. And then I said something I shouldn't have said, upset my mother. She stayed upset for a long time because I said, you haven't been working on him long enough. And he said, well, we never had a heartbeat. Because the doctors at Children's told me they used to work on children for hours trying to resuscitate them.
Yeah.
And the doctors told me at Children's that what happens when you have emphysema, the lung explodes, shoves the heart, the trachea, everything out of position. And there's nothing they can do. Nothing they can do. And because I told him I want to see him, so I went back there to saw him, and I saw he had his neck, his chest, all this area. And when you went to his funeral, you said, that doesn't look like Daddy. We're all puffed up.
No.
Because they tried to intubate him, and they couldn't. And they tried to give him air, and the air just went under the skin.
Yeah.
Because the trachea had been shoved out of position. And but I was so sorry I said that, because my mother felt like they didn't try, because he was an old man.
Yeah.
They didn't try hard enough.
Yeah.
And that bothered her for a long time.
That was 73, as I recall, because I remember
Yeah,
I was
73.
came in 73.
Yeah.
I was 9.
Yeah.
And
That's the year we went to come to Idaho.
73 it was.
Me and Bohannon would come to Idaho.
Oh, okay. I thought it was later than that. 73. Interesting. Huh. You know, something.
I went to the funeral, then I went back, and we traveled here.
What time of year was that in 73? I don't remember.
It was
July.
June, something. Yeah, it was summer, something
June
like that.
73.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember we had it was a couple years before that. I remember we had a family get together, and I was a little kid, but I remember there was toadstools out in the yard, and Grandpa would go out with a cereal bowl and pick toadstools and put it in the cereal bowl and take it in the trash can. It was the strangest thing is we always heard, don't touch toadstools; they're dangerous. They're going to hurt you, And I always thought that was neat. He always had great stories to tell.
Yes, he did. I got a picture of her. She was 3, and my dad planted strawberries in the backyard, and she had her little bag and a little bucket or something, and they were walking down the rows, and my dad would say, there's one there, there's one to the right one, so she know which one to pick, and she'd pick them. And when they got to the end of the row, my dad looked in her little bucket. He said, where's the strawberry? She said, I ate them.
And Dorothy, who are you pointing to?
Me.
No, who is that?
Oh, that's Therese.
Okay.
Her father, he wanted to name her Teresa, and then I have a sister-in-law named Teresa. I said, no, we're not going to name her Teresa. And my brother Elmer's wife is named Teresa. I said, no, we're not. So he said, well, okay. So he says Therese because his middle name was Maurice. So that's why we got Therese. And then it's spelled stupid because when she was born, the stupid girl doing her birth certificate spelled her name. I said Teresa, like Teresa without the A. Is that hard? If she didn't know how, she should have asked me. She spelled it Trice. So people say, that's what people say. Therese, Terrace, yeah, all kinds of things.
They don't know male or female.
Yeah, really, they don't. Mm-mm.
That's what bothers me. Yeah.
What's your middle name?
Michelle, and she didn't spell that right because Michelle is a French name for men, for Irish, French men named Michelle, and for girls you spell it with 2 L's, but boys you spell it with 1 L. She spelled it with 1 L. Oh, goodness. So.
He's like a French rapper. Tea, right? Tea ice.
I remember I always lived on the coast, so coming to Fresno was so different for me because it's so hot, and we had citrus fruit, oranges and lemons. It was so amazing to me. When Grandpa giving us, I think it was oranges in the backyard, something like that. I just remember some kind of citrus.
We had an orange tree.
Was it
I
orange
still
tree?
have it in the backyard.
Yeah, and I remember giving us oranges, and it was so neat having a fresh orange, and I was like, wow.
Well, the oranges weren't very good in the last few years because we hadn't got any rain,
Yeah,
and they didn't
That's
taste
really
worth
dry.
a darn. They
I
didn't.
remember when Karen
But
first
this year, we're supposed to have an El Nino, but we still
Yeah.
didn't have a whole lot. But we
Yeah.
got more than we
Yeah.
had. And the oranges are very good.
Yeah.
People, I give them away because I don't like
yeah.
to give them away. So,
And I'm trying to think of other memories I got at the time. I remember everybody would come and park on the lawn, and I always thought that was the funniest thing because you're supposed to park on the lawn, are you?
Yeah.
But that's everybody.
can't now because I have a fence around my yard.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
okay.
front.
yeah.
Tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta tell me some of your stories then.
Tell him
So,
what he.
so what happened between high school and Idaho? I never heard that part.
What Idaho? What about Idaho?
What happened between high school and Idaho?
High school in Idaho. That's all.
You went up to Idaho with that brother, and you tell him about the cows when you used to take them to the fair, and
I remember hearing a story about you had a calf.
No, I started out in 4-H, and the story started out with rabbits, and of course rabbits multiply very quickly, and so then I switched over to a calf. I helped milk cows for Sinclair up the hill, Sinclair Dairy, and so they sold me a calf for $2.50. It was just dropped that day, and I carried it home my arm. And so that calf became a champion bull. And I had a couple, 2 or 3 like that. But 4-H and FFA was more part of my life, but which none of the other family were interested in that calf. Cotton was a big thing.
Yeah. So what year was that? Your calf? That
The
first
calf, boy, oh boy.
that was a long time.
I'm ancient, and that's ancient. We're living Fairmead right there.
You lived in Fairmead, yeah.
Yeah.
That had to be in the 40s, 50s,
Yeah, something like that.
late 40s, early
Yeah,
50s.
and we, like you said, we moved around a lot after all said and done.
Yeah.
Because I remember Mom telling stories about Bert's calf. I remember
Yeah,
that, so.
I'd go out and call this calf. So the calf was so tame. We didn't have a fence. All I'd do is call him, and he'd come to me. And that was nice. See, Helen she was come and go because she was in San Francisco or whatever. But we didn't get to see her very much. But what we did, we really enjoyed it, seeing Helen.
She bought me.
And Elmer, my brother, he would help me finance my calf and stuff because he sent money home from the military. And he was really proud of that.
I remember Helen one time I saw her. She used to when she lived in Fresno. She'd come home. She'd take the bus, and the freeway is right over there, not far from where we live. And I saw her walking home with this big box. And I said, "Oh, look at what's Helen got in the box." My mother said, "Get out of here! Don't be bothering her." Long. Well, she had bought me a doll, and it was a beautiful doll. I just loved it. She bought this doll for me. And when we moved to Yakima, I left it up there, and my aunt said she was going to send it to me, but she never did.
Yeah, the first job I had was on the freeway there, 99, washing dishes.
Oh, in that restaurant?
Yeah, across. It was a truck stop. I'd walk over there and wash dishes every so often. That
Hollis worked there too.
Yeah.
Is that when you were in high school or before that?
Yeah, high school.
What truck stop?
It was a
It's-
truck stop. It's not there anymore. It's across
Is
the.
it by Red Top?
No.
No.
It was down there by Fairmead.
Oh.
Right straight across the field.
Because he could walk over there across our fields and go to the
Go to work.
truck stop. It wasn't that
Yeah.
far.
Then we moved. I guess we all moved to. Leaving there, we went to Fresno, right? Or where?
I think we went to Yakima and then we
Yakima
came
first,
back to
yeah.
Fresno.
Yeah, Yakima first.
Came back to Fresno.
Yeah.
So when did you work for the Hotel California?
I was a senior in high school. I was working at the hotel. I was a busboy, and And all the big athletes and stuff, we had the whole, for the banquet room, we had the banquet, we had whole trays overhead. We take these things to these wild athletes and make sure we don't drop anything. And it was fun.
Was that where you worked when you brought the lobster home and threw it on me in my bed?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but
When was that now? That was you were in high school?
I was in high school. I don't know if he was, but he brought this lobster home. You know how they eat the meat and all that, but the lobster was still just like a big old red. But he brings it, throws it on me in my. I was in bed and threw it on me in my bed.
yeah, those days are gone.
Yeah.
Was it still alive?
No, they had eaten the meat out of it, but
I
it was
beat it
just
to
a
death
big.
first.
It was just a big lobster. They didn't cut it up. They didn't cut the legs up. So it still was a big lobster, a big red lobster. He brought it, threw it on me in my bed.
Why'd you do that, Dad?
He used to
It
do
was
stuff
fun.
like that.
It
That
was
was
fun.
his thing.
I just want to hear mine.
That was his thing. He did stuff.
That's the
like that.
thing to do with your sisters, you know. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, also I got caught by the police one night stealing alfalfa.
Whoa, this is a story I haven't heard. Wait, I haven't heard this. Go.
See, I had rabbits, you know, and we didn't have any money to feed those dudes. So what we did, I'd go out there and just, at night, crawl around this field. The police came by one day, shined a light, and they caught me. Somebody
saw him. Yeah.
How old were you, Bert?
Oh boy,
Teenager, I think.
that's
Old enough to know better?
Nothing no better, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know any better. So I got caught doing that.
And what the cops do?
Nothing. They said, go home.
Oh yeah, just go home.
Go home and don't get it. So how much feed can I get in my hands?
Yeah.
But those were the days.
So what did you after high school? Did you end up going to college or?
Well, it was, but I couldn't because I had to work.
Yeah.
And I was going to go to Fresno City College, but it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask a question about your sports, Dad?
Shoot.
You played a lot of sports, right? What did you play?
Yeah, when I played, when I started in grade school, it was amazing. Look how tall you guys are. And I was the tallest guy in the grade school. Can you imagine
Back
that?
in the day.
And so I played basketball and softball, and we won everything you could put your hands on. And we had to go to play the high school. We were so good. And so, of course, we got beat in high school because we had to take a shower. I didn't know what that was. and then we had to we on a wooden floor. What's that? Because our territory play basketball is all dirt. You slide up, slide here, slide there.
Yeah, they didn't have one.
So I got through that. And I went to high school. And then I couldn't play freshman football because I was too big.
Wait. Huh?
I had to play with the bigger boys.
Had to play with the varsity.
That didn't make sense, does it? But it did. And so I played. Then I did shot put and I did discus and stuff like that. But most of it was. I went to West Coast Relays with Johnny Mathis. You know who Johnny Mathis is? Well, he was the same. He was a high jumper. He wasn't Johnny Mathis of Johnny Mathis those days. He was just a high jumper. He was good. He was skinny and good.
Never heard that one.
A lot of them you haven't heard. I wouldn't tell you either, but anyway. So it went from there. Then we played City League baseball. So I couldn't do anything else but play City League. And we played, the city of Fresno had a team all the time. I had pictures of it. And then I got the opportunity to play in LA Sports Arena at halftime in basketball because they had this little excerpts of people playing for halftime. And we were one of the teams. They had us come in and play basketball.
Where was that at now?
In L.A. Sports Arena.
Was it the Lakers?
Which is Sports Arena. Yeah, Sports Arena is not there anymore, but
So halftime of a Lakers game?
yeah, last halftime.
Oh, wow.
So the little things look like sort of like. Then I had a softball team. I played hardball. Semi-pro hardball for the Mets. It was really a ragtag. But anyway, we played I had my own softball team for a while. We played Reedley, California, which I know you guys know where Reedley is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we won a championship there. Then they sent us to Stockton. And so we had no way to get there. Nobody had a car. So Elmer, my brother, stepped up and said, I'll take you guys up there. And he drove us to Stockton. And that was a whole different ball. We had no idea where we're going, what we're doing, nothing. But we played. It was fun. Those days were... everything was sports in those days.
Yes, it was.
Everything
I
was
played
sports.
basketball and baseball.
Yeah.
And when I was in high school, I played on a team that was a city team. And we played over there where that McDonald's is, and that's
Dickie's Playground.
Playground. We used to play there all the time.
Remember when Mom played for the
So did you play in like an all-girls team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when
She
When
was
did
actually
you-
really good.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't-
when
they
did
didn't see
you
it coming.
play the prison team?
Oh, yeah, the prisoner. We had opportunities to play the prisoners on Tehachapi. You know where Tehachapi is? The girls and the boys. They had to escort us to the bathroom.
Oh my goodness.
So the guys might
Yeah.
do some damage or something.
How old were you then? Was that high school?
I was out of high school then.
And you played prisoners.
We
They let them have
played the
baths.
prisoners. City League softball, and we played the prisoners.
Wow.
And they busted out there, and we go up there and we played. It was a good, innocent game and whatnot, but it was kind of spooky. Really, we think of prisoners, and they toting guns and all that stuff. But we were just innocent little kids out there really playing.
Didn't you play for McDonnell Douglas?
Yeah, I played for McDonnell Douglas for the episode. I worked for McDonnell Douglas, started in 1962. And
Like the aircraft manufacturers?
aircraft, yeah. And they picked a team out of the employees. And I was one of the employees that played. And so we played different aircraft companies and different big companies around the world. That's why it all started going to the Laker game and stuff like that. They pick out certain teams. Because one year we had a record of about say 28-1 or something like that. You know, we were real good. And I'm not patting my hand on my back or anything, but we were serious. In other words, to try to make it some way somehow. But it was fun. Then when I came here in Idaho, they even asked me to play for the Mormons here one time. And no, I couldn't do that. So it was a kind of a ragtag world I lived in.
So were you a professional softball team or?
No, city league. It's a city league, a very good city league, where they have the ratings of how good you were, and we were very, very, very well good. I played first base and pitcher most of the time. But, you know, you keep bringing it. I keep thinking of these things, and then I remember when these guys first came to Idaho, Rusty and his family, and Helen, and that was pretty interesting because your mom fell in love with this place, and I needed it by the hot weather and all.
Yeah, it did. But you didn't say how you got to Idaho.
Oh, how I got you that? Oh, thank you. I came to Idaho. Brother Bohannon. My mother always said, "Go to the memorial. Whatever you do, go to the memorial." And I said, "Oh boy, what a drag." So I went to the memorial, and I was approached by Brother Bohannon. You never met him. You talked to him on the phone one time, long time ago. But anyway,
This is San Bernardino.
no,
Yes, that's Bill.
San Bernardino or
no, not.
No, it was in San Monica.
San Juan.
Yeah, I came over when Bill wrote to the society. He hadn't been married yet. He got married and whatnot. He wrote to the society and says, "Where can we go?" Well, the need was great. Is it LeGrand, Oregon, or Emmett, Idaho? So we had a choice of both jungles.
I was gonna say LeGrand.
But same.
Which way?
Yeah, and they had a tree out there that said, "Don't be here, don't be out there, don't be after night."
Be out after night.
After night, I was almost. It was really a racist place for a while.
We changed it yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, when we got here.
Where was the sign at?
They used to advertise a little bit. It was really, really big, but you could tell. Even Lydia's husband came here, remember?
Yeah.
And he could feel, he said, how people treated him and stuff.
And he's Mexican.
Yeah. And it was interesting. But anyway, it's all gone in the past. And so Bohannon Road to the Society, a year later, we packed up. I had my 56 International pickup and pull in the car, and remember that pickup trees when he took you guys up the mountains and all that stuff?
And we used to sit in the back.
And that was 73, right, when you came to Idaho?
Yeah. We took off. It took us about 2 days, 3 days, whatever, to get here. And when we got here, Bohannon, of course, he knew some of the brothers here. So I slept on the floor for a few weeks. Then I finally rented a house for $50 a month. And I'll show you guys if you're here.
Gas money.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Less than gas.
Taking a half.
But it was, and then I'll show the Kingdom Hall. It's not there anymore. It was a Kingdom Hall. We're the first one to get married in it, Karen and I.
Yeah.
And it had a big pole right in the middle of it.
A pole?
Hole?
Yeah, hold it up. What do you mean?
Was it tent?
So the tent.
So when was that?
They built the
On Fifth
walls
Street.
around it.
When was that?
Back in it was the 70s. So when I first got here, I lived with Bohannon for a while and on the floor, and then moved to this little house, and I stayed. We lived there for. When we got married, got married in that little house, $50 a month. So it's a long story to victory.
What street was that on?
Commercial.
Commercial Street.
Was it in Boise or where?
Right
Right
here.
here.
We didn't know anything about big city. What do you mean? And then
$50 a month was kind of expensive back then.
$50 a month. But anyway, I remodeled it inside. I did some remodeling and whatnot inside of it. And then we moved to another one on
Murray.
Murray, when you guys came.
Yep.
That's when you guys came.
78. July 4th weekend, 78 we came.
We were baling hay. These guys came with, my buddy and I were baling hay when these guys come to visit us. They thought that was pretty neat out there.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'd never seen alfalfa and corn growing before, because we didn't do that.
I know, over there you saw nothing.
Canals and
Yeah.
it was 100 degrees, and I rode your bike, and I didn't know where it was at the time, but I was on Locust Street, turned from Locust on to Johns by the railroad tracks there, and almost got run over because the railroad tracks kind of come out into the street. I didn't want to cross the rails and fall over, and this guy almost ran me off the road, and I was like, man, I'm going to run over in the middle of nowhere.
Well, that's another story too. I got around off the road. I started riding motorcycle in L.A., which I thought I'd never even drive there, much less ride a motorcycle. I went from Fresno there, and so I had a Triumph 650. I rode it every day. It was a good bike, beautiful bike, and so I sold everything to come to Emmett, and I got here and I couldn't let it go, so I bought another one, a 500 cc, and then I got forced off the road down there somewhere out in the boonies and broke 3 ribs.
Vander Dawson Road.
Yeah,
Vander Dawson Road.
and so then I got a bigger one, and it went on and on for a while, and then I got smart. Bert, you're not going to do this all your life. You're going to get hurt one day.
Hold on, didn't you get run off the road, break 3 ribs, and then what did you do?
Oh, I break around the road. Fortunately, I had a helmet on. They had a helmet law then. They don't have it anymore.
They
That
don't
makes
have
sense.
a helmet law?
No.
Oh my goodness.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Liberty.
What?
Freedom, liberty, they call it.
Yeah, liberty. Policeman stopped me and said that. I don't give a damn. He said, "Put your helmet on, boy." So anyway, I did. But it was. I was riding, and I come to a curve like and this guy kind of forced me to make a choice in the ditch or whatever. I made the choice, and I went in the canal head first, and I had a helmet on, fortunately. And then I climbed out somehow. Fortunately, a guy came by I worked the mill with, and he helped me out, get out of the mud and whatnot, and then pushed the bike over to the side. Then we took it to, and they took me to the hospital. She didn't know I was in the hospital.
Oh, my. I got home in the morning.
Yeah, really.
So when was this? It was like mid-70s, summer 75 maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
76?
Yeah, and before you guys came. See, when these guys came, we started riding a lot of motorcycles and stuff with Rusty and.
I remember the old CB 900 Custom.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Riding to Fresno.
Yeah, I rode to Fresno a few times.
Irritate Grandma.
You ride that thing again, boy. It was fun though. To me, riding motorcycle was it wasn't not riding with anybody. Just the open road was beautiful to me. I love the open road. But it got so smoggy in Fresno, I couldn't even breathe one time. I had to pull off a road.
Smog was bad.
It was really bad. And because you're behind cars and stuff and whatever. But it was fun. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world until I got smart.
Because the last time I saw you ride a motorcycle when you came down for Denise's wedding,
Yeah.
remember when you had shorts on and you hopped the thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
epic.
My niece's
Remember
wedding.
those
That's
days?
something we still
Yes,
talk
I'm sorry,
about.
Dad.
Yeah,
Talks about that one.
I
Yes,
came.
she does.
It was real hot here, hot in
It was in
Fresno,
August.
and I had these
Hot
striped
blue
shorts
blue.
on, these
Blue
prisoner
and
shorts.
white, blue and white shorts.
And I asked somebody where's everybody at their wedding or whatever. So wedding where? And so they told me where it was. So I got on my bike and rode around, and I saw all this partying going on behind this fence. So I said, "Wow, how am I gonna get in there?" So I jumped this fence, and it looked like a prisoner coming over the fence.
10-foot fence. He had a white T-shirt on, these Bermuda shorts, and a black motorcycle. And everybody had a fancy.
Denise picked
wedding.
Denise up and swirled her around my
Everybody
niece.
petted. Oh my God! And then we all went.
I know who I
It was all
was.
fell all over. It was a stuffy wedding until Bert got there.
Yeah,
It was
when
a
he got
party
there.
after that.
Yeah.
you know, we went to a wedding down Fresno. Maybe it was the same wedding. I remember
Yeah, I
going down there
know.
for a wedding
It
down
was
there.
fun. It was
Fancy wedding. I remember that. It was
Then I went to the only class reunion I ever been to. I went down there by myself. This is after I got married even. And I said, I'll go down and see Mom and go to the reunion one. I'll never do that again. Go see these reunions are terrible.
Yeah.
People drunk and
Yeah.
throwing up. And, oh,
Yeah.
man, what a mess.
Like, you guys are
And the guy said, you're going to park that thing? And yes, I'm going to park it. Yes, sir. He said, you're going to park it out there? No, sir, I'm not, sir. Because I had it. It was brand new. So I finally talked him into park it in the lobby.
Your motorcycle?
Yeah, 'cause I said, I'm not going in unless I got to cover this.
Parking in the lobby.
Yeah. I parked right
Bert
inside.
get somebody to park it.
Yeah.
It was probably at a nice place too. Where was the reunion at? A nice hotel?
Yeah, a nice hotel somewhere.
And a motorcycle in the lobby.
I said, when you see me, you're going to see it. That's all. But those were the days.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they were.
Then I got back to my little lovely wife here.
She's like,
And she says, where you been, boy?
So, Dad, do you mind saying what it was like when you met this 19-year-old girl and you were already in your 30s? And
Well, I was, that's a long story. See, I didn't come here to get married at all. I said, man, where am I going? I come over that hill like you guys did. Where am I going? I had no idea where I was going. Only thing was here. It was
one house.
it was an orchard though. That was a beautiful orchard in the summertime. And I came here and then, to make a long story short, first time I saw her and people, and then what to me to pick from around here anyway.
Good.
I'll tell you the truth, it wasn't.
Say suave, yeah.
But
He's laughing.
but anyway, Anyway, make a long story short, I was going to find her house, and I went to the wrong house. I rode a bicycle to her with the wrong house, way out to the boonies out there somewhere.
He knew that it was a red barn.
Red barn
house
house.
on
The house we
it.
saw today, that big house.
Yeah.
That's
So
what,
he stopped at the gas station when he got up on the bench and asked them where the red barn house was. Oh, you just go down this way and then you turn right and follow the road and you'll get to it. Well, 12 miles later, he got to the red barn house and he went up and knocked on the door. And he told them, they told me it was a red barn house. Oh, you mean the Mansons? Well, they're way back that direction, and then the same amount the other way.
on this bicycle too.
Oh, bicycle.
So you were late for dinner then?
Yeah,
Is
Tad.
that the night
Tad.
you had to go to dinner 4 different times?
Well, no, that's before that, but
So Dad, how old were you when you met Mom?
36.
36, and she was 19?
No,
20?
I was
21.
20.
Oh, you got
20.
married when you got 21.
Good golly.
Good golly, Miss Molly.
It was a different era.
And that wasn't weird, huh?
No, it wasn't
He
to
was over
me.
18.
But her dad was your age.
I know it. I didn't worry about that part.
He was 5 years older.
He was 5 years older than her dad.
Okay.
See, when I came here, her dad had the business down here, the international dealership, and she worked there. And so I hung around there a lot. Got well known and whatever. And
Embarrassed the living daylights
And-
out of me.
people would tease me, really. What are you doing? What are you doing, that young chick over there, and you're an old dude? Well, you worry about your own, I'll worry about mine.
Your dad probably
Good answer.
Your dad probably set it up. He's like, I gotta marry off my daughter. Her.
Is your
Yeah,
father
they were.
bad?
I have to admit, they were very, very nice to me. Very, very nice. Bohannon filled them all in. My brother, the brother that brought me here, he filled them all in. Though I was upright guy. I was upright.
That's how you met through Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, the Kingham Hall,
Oh.
and the ones at Kingham Hall, and that's where it all started.
That's where it all started.
That's where it all started. Then when I sat by her, boy, it really raised my eyebrows. You don't sit by a sister if you're not paying attention.
Engaged.
Yeah, you got with you.
You better have a ring on your finger before you sit by
Yeah, that's
someone.
What are you guys looking at? Huh? What's wrong with this? I'm all right.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
He's a California
Yeah.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
You guys step outside. We'll talk about it. But
And where was the first Kingdom Hall? The one on,
the first was Kingdom Hall, Carentown, where it is.
not the one on 6th Street, right? It was on
Well, that canal goes through there, behind that.
the photo shop now. That
No.
the
Oh, the Photoshop was the second hall.
second Kingdom Hall. Okay, that's what I thought.
The first one was on Main Street, just before you get to the canal. It was an old rickety house that they tore out all the downstairs, and that was our Kingdom Hall.
How many could it seat?
Well, we had 45 publishers. We had 45 publishers when we moved to the new hall. When Bert came, we still had 45 publishers. When we moved to the hall we're in now, we had 48 publishers because they were here. And then we started growing because the wife of the brother he moved up with started writing back to all the brothers and
California
sisters in
dreaming. Everybody
California.
comes.
And here they
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's how I broke it in there at the mill. I never fixed it.
Oh, goodness. I got
Oh,
arthritis
my
too.
goodness.
I never fixed it, so it grew back like that.
Years.
It hurts once in a while though.
Yeah, I imagine so. You should have put it in a.
So that's life in a nutshell.
Yeah.
A lot of things you guys never heard, but a lot of things you won't want to hear anyway.
You do got to tell the story about eating dinner 4 times in a row.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
you
different,
have to tell us.
different story. When you're invited somewhere, you got to make sure you're there, and excuse yourself immediately to go to the next one.
So just show up.
Yeah,
Eat a little bit.
because when you're hungry, you don't have your money. You got to do all your things. You
Eat all your calories for the week.
Exactly. One
know,
night.
make your appointments.
Take it to go plate.
He hadn't learned to do that yet, though. So my mother invited him to come to dinner. She told him my dad was going to put the steaks on at 5 o'clock, and then we'd probably eat about 5:30. Well, 5:30 came and went, and 6:30 came and went, and my dad said, "We're eating." And so we sat down and we ate, and 9:30 came, and finally here comes Bert.
You see the big headlights of the truck coming.
And we found out about 3 weeks later that he had been to 2 other families' houses before coming to ours for supper. And so,
And he still
Yeah.
has more to go.
See, the pickup I had was there's another strange thing happened in the city. I want a pickup real bad, so I had one that got the. Then the brother says, "I know where one is. You should get." So I went along with him, and so make a long story short, I bought it. They had a 440 Chrysler in it, automatic transmission, whole bit, in a 3/4 ton truck.
Yeah.
And it got 6 miles a gallon.
Pass everything but a gas station.
So I said, well, okay, we got to do something here. So I met a guy, and he had a garage. His dad had a garage, whatnot. So he had a 283 Chevy, all completely done, ready to go in. So we switched. He took the engine out of mine, and I put the 4-speed in mine. So that's why it went beautiful for years. Yeah. It was fun. But in the city, you didn't see anybody have big, raggedy trucks in town. I was a farmer coming to the city, see. And they said, what are you doing for driving something like this in town? Well, you take care of your business and I'll take care of mine.
Seems to be a repeating theme.
Seems like a lot of business being
Take care of your
I'll take
business
care of
problems.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that ought to be enough, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm running out of battery here. But that was great stuff. So
My charger cord.
we got another.
Well, it was fun. It was a fun life. And without her, it wouldn't have been fun, believe me. With her, it was beautiful. The age didn't matter.
That's good.
Yeah, it was nice.
And Dorothy, what were you doing while Dad was transitioning to Idaho?
I lived in San Bernardino for about, my parents moved down there. I lived there from 60.
Born down there.
Yeah, that's right. 59. I was there in 59 when I was pregnant with her, and she was born there. And we lived down there till 64, and I moved back to Fresno.
What happened to cousin Aaron? What happened to our cousin? What was his name?
Who?
Went to high school with him for a little while. Lived in Aunt Maggie's nephew or something.
Oh, Aunt Maggie's nephew.
Some cousin or something. Anyway,
Not Edmund.
No,
Morris Jr. I can't think.
But anyway, I went to high school with him for a little while. He was kind of a strange guy.
Well, I know him
Edmund's brother.
No,
No.
Morris Jr.
Different family,
Bicycle.
different bloodline.
Charlie.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
Charlie. Charlie was younger.
No, this is different.
They weren't Hendrixes.
No, they weren't Henry.
Who was
Anyway,
the
he
name?
worked in. Last time I heard about it, he worked in a hotel. He was a hotel, run the elevator and all that kind of stuff.
Where at?
And there in Yakima.
Dad, I know an important story you guys should both tell is how'd you come to the church?
Oh, how they come to truth? That's a long story.
Well, I've told him before, my grandfather, I was telling him about his mother. My grandfather, my dad's dad, started studying, the coal porters started coming around.
Come across the river. They come across the river.
And
What's a coal porter?
that was
That's
what
what's called pioneers.
pioneers back in the day.
Oh, I thought you meant somebody transports
No,
coal.
No.
coal porters. That's what they called
okay.
them. And my
I didn't have my
grandfather
truck yet.
started studying. My grandmother hated all religions because when her oldest daughter, my dad was number 10 of 11 children, and his oldest sister died of a sudden heart attack, 23 years old, and had 3 young children. And the preacher told my grandmother at her funeral that it was the Lord's will. And my grandmother said, okay, well, if that's the way the Lord's works, I don't want to have nothing to do with
That's
it.
why my dad's that way too.
And she never did. And my dad was raised to hate all religion. So he didn't. And when my mother started studying, he didn't want her to go to meetings. He didn't want her to go out in service. And she didn't for a long time. But my dad, before he died, and long before, he knew it was the truth. And he liked to go to the assemblies. He always went to the memorial. But he was raised to hate religion, and that's why it was kind of hard for
Oh, I
him.
didn't know that.
I remember seeing him with a truth book. I remember he had a truth book.
Uh-huh.
I gave him,
He's got a
right
Bible,
before he died, I gave him a Bible, the big black
Oh.
Bible.
big
Okay.
Bible, and he wrote on it, given to me by my son, Heilbert. They spelled it
Heil.
H-Y-L-B-E-R-T. That's how.
Heilbert.
That's the way his name was spelled.
Heilbert.
And then and my grandmother, she lived with my aunt and her husband for years before she died. And I went to her funeral. I was about 15 years old, and they didn't have no preachers, no nothing. They just They had her funeral we were at the graveside where they buried her. People just talked about her, talked about things, and that was all. Because my grandmother hated religion. But my grandfather, he started studying, but he died of a stroke at 65, about 6 months after he started studying. And the witnesses came to our house, and my mother started studying. But like I said, my dad didn't want her to have nothing to do with
1956.
but she studied, and she stayed with Jehovah. In 1956, she was baptized.
How old was she?
Probably in
And
her
the
50s, early 60s or something
Yeah.
like that. But she
I remember
stayed under-
Delbert helped me come to the truth a lot.
Yeah, Delbert was the one.
Delbert was very faithful.
My oldest
Everything.
brother, Ely, Delbert when they used to come to visit us, they lived in Southern California. Ely and Helen and him came to Fresno. They lived in Chowchilla then. And I lived behind Huntington Boulevard, which is a big street. And he used to go and walk down Huntington to try to find the house where the people they stayed with when they came there and got baptized. And in about 1942 or 43, they came and got baptized. Well, then Ely couldn't stand the persecution during the Second World War, and he went into the military. Helen stayed on Jehovah's side. Delbert did too. Delbert went into he was a conscientious objector, so he went to prison. But
How long was he in prison?
well, he got 3 years, but he was only there 18 months. And he said all we did was we fought forest fires. They were in Arizona, and they took him to fight forest fires. He said it wasn't bad, it was fun. So, but my brother Ely, he went into the military because he didn't take it. He played in the military band. His worldly friends told him, "You don't have to fight. You could be in the band," and he was. He was in the military
7
band.
years.
And but before he died, before my mother died, all my siblings would come to visit. My mother was living with me, and I started talking to him. I started witnessing to him. I placed the Truth book with him.
Oh, neat.
And I would place magazine with him, and he would ask me questions, and I would answer them, and I would tell him, when the witnesses come by your house, you talk to them, you answer them questions. And I think he did, because he died of a sudden heart attack too. He was 45. He had a heart attack when he was 38. Came home from work one day, and he didn't feel well. Called his doctor, and the doctor said, well, if you don't feel any better, come in on Monday. That was a Friday. He died in the ambulance at 2:45 on Sunday morning going to the hospital. And so when my mother and I went down there, they were in, where'd they live?
Oxnard.
Oxnard. His wife asked me, would the Jehovah's Witnesses do his memorial?
Aww.
I said, yes, they will. I said, I got on the phone. I got the number out of the phone book. I called them. And I told the brother, I said, he was never disfellowshipped. I said, he was inactive. You know, I told him the story, and the brother said, yeah, he would do it. The brother came and did his memorial. Yeah.
What year was that? Because I was there, but I don't remember what year it was. I was a little kid.
Yeah, so it was what? In the
1973.
Yeah, something like that,
The same year
73.
Grandpa died.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
Ely
wow.
died. Ely died in.
November.
Daddy died in June. Ely died in October of '73.
November.
Well,
Yeah,
whatever.
'cause you guys got married in
He
December.
died just before my birthday.
Oh, okay.
It was
Well,
November.
October, November, I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, they both died in '73.
Anyway, the truth has been in our family all the time, whether we accept it or not.
It's been there, yeah.
And I didn't, because I was so deep in sports. My whole
Well,
thing was sports,
my two brothers, Elmer and Hollis, hated the truth. Neither one of them would. But I answered the other night at the meeting, and brother, they were talking about family members who had lost and all this, and so I raised my hand and I said, well, all of my family are gone. It's only two of us left. I said, my brother and I used to have arguments, and we did. He's older than me, but I was the youngest. But we would have horrendous arguments. You know, I would be witnessing to him. We'd get into these big arguments. So I told him, I said, so he died. I said, but when he comes back, I'm going to tell him, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? I tried to tell you. And the brother said, everybody busted up laughing, and the brother said, but you won't talk to him like that. I said, well, maybe I won't.
Hey, I just tell him you take care of your business.
But my brother Elmer, he was a heavy smoker, and he got lung cancer, and Bert came down, and we went over to his house to see him.
The preachers came by.
And I had my Bible, and he said, here you come with that old book. I said, yes, I am. But we talked to him, read scriptures to him. Bert prayed with him. He was very receptive.
Yeah, he was right at that time.
He was
died.
very.
Well,
He died not long after.
Mom says that he used to. They had announced one time at the Kingdom Hall that Mom's cousin goes to, that he was a very bad do not call because he told them that if
He'd shoot him.
he'd shoot at him.
Yeah.
And she said her cousin was sitting there going, "Oh, I don't know these things."
She was so embarrassed. I said, they don't know that's your cousin. They don't know. She was so embarrassed, but he told him that don't come back to his house or he'd shoot him. And so they announced it at the Kingdom Hall.
That's kind of worse.
Yeah, really.
I'd probably announce that one.
Do not call.
That was real do not call.
Okay, hold that thought for a minute. We're running out of battery here. Just a
Okay,
minute.
well.